Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
So some good news today, and I'm happy with this announcement. The Biden administration came out today and said they're going to jumpstart efforts to remove all of the lead pipe in this country. And look, this is something I've been talking about for years. We need massive investment in our underground infrastructure. Where I'm at, not too far from here in Harrisburg, the Pennsylvania state capital. It's like sinkhole capital of the world. Buses, tractors, all kind of stuff seem to be getting swallowed up because the pipes under the ground are like 100, 125 years old. We haven't done the investment. Talked a lot about it, but never seemed to get anything done. So I'm thrilled by the fact that the Biden administration is saying, hey, we're going to make water clean again. Can we put that on a bumper sticker? Can that be like one of those MAGA things? Make water clean again? Anyway, here to share some thoughts on how we do just that. I've asked Tim Burga to come talk with us. Tim is the president of the Ohio AFL-CIO. Tim, thanks for taking some time for us.
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
So I'm looking at this announcement, and I think this is great. I know in our backyard we desperately need it. I know in places like Allentown, places like Cleveland, Milwaukee, Flint, desperately need this kind of investment, if not just to help save our children, but to create some jobs.
Well, after decades of promising that we're going to do something about our nation's infrastructure, and in particular, as you pointed out, getting rid of the lead water pipes and putting in new pipes and safe drinking water, the day's finally here. And this massive investment with the infrastructure bill that President Biden led brings 15 million new jobs into the country, 60,000 new jobs into Ohio. And as you indicated, $1.4 billion just into Ohio to remove lead pipes and to make our drinking water safe. And we think it's a win for, of course, all families in Ohio and all working people in Ohio. And it's a new day, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
No, and it's desperately needed. And as I've been saying, this is kind of a reset of our economy and the kind of jobs that have been created. This is kind of a statement that we're going to have people who build things again. And you talk about the 15 million infrastructure jobs, being an economic shot in the arm, which is what this study from Georgetown University's Center on Education and the Workforce has come out with. 15 million jobs over 10 years. That's a pretty big deal, especially when you look at the fact that most of those jobs, because prevailing wage is still in the law, those are going to be good wage, good family sustaining jobs with health care and retirement security. This is the way forward.
There's no question it's the way forward. And especially as you look back over this pandemic, it's working people and trade unionists that have served, we've sacrificed, we've healed, we've honored the country we love, the country unions built. And what we've asked in return is to invest in us. And I believe that we're in a renaissance now, a new period here where we're going to start to put working people first, an economy that works for us. And the first thing we'd asked for was the American Recovery Plan to get us a blueprint out of this economic crisis and fund the vaccines. And then the next piece we asked for was, after decades of broken promises, to usher in a new era of this infrastructure bill. And as you indicated, 15 million new jobs. And these are good union jobs that can't be outsourced with domestic materials. And in Ohio, what that means is $11 billion at a minimum, not including any grants that we might be getting, which there's a lot of talk about potential grants for transportation and other things here. But we're talking, $9.6 million for roads and bridges in Ohio, $1.2 million to improve public transit. Our airport's $250 million, $140 million to expand broadband and the charging networks in Ohio for the electric vehicles. And as you had indicated, the water. So these are down payments on President Biden's promise to be the most pro-union, pro-worker president in our lifetime. And we want to continue to build upon it.
Now, one of the things this study from Georgetown pointed out is that this is going to kind of remake our economy and be kind of a what they say, temporarily reinvigorate the blue collar workforce. Because for the last couple of decades, working class males have been taking it on the chin as we've lost manufacturing, we've lost steel jobs, we've lost a lot of those blue collar jobs to outsourcing and all of that. This is an opportunity to reclaim some of that. And he's also talking about, having Buy American provisions right there front and center. So the steel we use on those bridges going to be made right here at home. The concrete, all of the things that we're going to use. Hopefully we're going to create jobs here at home with that as well. And I think that's something we've desperately needed to do over the last couple of decades.
You're right. Of these 15 million jobs that Georgetown University study is projecting across the country, 560,000 jobs now, 85% of these jobs are not going to require a 4-year degree. So these are going to be our pipe fitters, and these are going to be our electricians, and these are going to be our communication workers and our transit workers. And as you indicated, it's going to be a massive investment into the people who do the work in this country and make our economy go. And that investment is going to give back to our overall economy, and it's going to help Main Street businesses all over the country as well. And there's a reason why when you see something where the AFL-CIO and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce both support it, it's good for the worker and for the business community, and that makes it good for the economy. So we're ready to do our part, as we always do, roll up our sleeves, get to work, and get the job done.
Yeah, you don't often see that marriage. You don't often see that coupling happen. But when it can, this is a good thing. Now, one of the things that's of a concern, and I've asked a lot of my building trades friends, are we able to do this? I mean, this is a massive investment. Do we have the manpower? Do we have the brain power? Do we have the skilled workers to be able to do this? And how long, if we don't, how long is it going to take to ramp up these apprenticeship programs, which my building trades friends do better than anyone? How long is it going to take? Or do you think we're capable of taking this on right now?
Yeah, we're going to get there. Of course, a lot of this money is to expand existing projects, and then there's so much for new work that needs to be done to rebuild the country. We've been preaching for a long time now to be putting students, even in the elementary level, and then into the high school, K through 12, into the trades and pre-apprenticeship. And I was at visited a school in New Lexington, Perry County, rural Ohio, and we've got third graders welding, at the school system down in Perry County to get ready for all the jobs that are going to be happening. And the building trades, they know what they're doing. It's a pipeline, and what we've always known in this country, if you give somebody a good job with good pay and good benefits and an interest in their safety on the job, people are going to gravitate towards it. And there's nobody, no industry, no unions better prepared to do this work and to have a pipeline full of workers to get those benches filled and get the job done than the building trades. And we know we're going to make that happen.
No, I've said for years, the reason we're seeing the craziness we see politically is because a lot of the folks that I know who are the angriest are the ones who have been left behind by this economy. They come from small towns where the only manufacturing facilities long left, and there's nothing behind to take up the slack. I say you give people, as you pointed out, good jobs with good retirement, good health benefits, and a future and opportunity. I think a lot of this insanity, I think a lot of it calms down. I think and I've been saying for years, if we give people the path to join and form unions and get good work, I think a lot of our problems get solved in the simplest of ways in the workplace.
Well, we've been talking for over 4 decades, as you know, about the deindustrialization of this country and what it's meant to our blue collar workforce, right? And what it's meant to our ability to really take care of ourselves. And we're seeing that with the problems with the supply lines and the like. And we've been talking about that for so long. So we're going to insource our work. We're going to focus on this infrastructure work. We're going to focus on advanced manufacturing and reinstituting manufacturing in this country again. We're going to have the energy jobs that the ones that are here and the new energy jobs, especially in those hard-hit coal-affected communities and Appalachia and the Ohio River Valley. And we're going to lead the way with that renaissance as well.
No, it's something we desperately need to do. Now, just to turn the corner a little bit, a moment ago you said, Joe Biden's been, a good president for union workers. I've said he's probably the most pro-union president in my lifetime. I like the rhetoric. I like the fact that he's come out and made statements, around what was going on in Alabama with Amazon. He's come out and made statements against permanently replacing striking workers at Kellogg's. It's all great that he's come out and made these statements, but we ultimately need to pass some major comprehensive labor law reform. And some of that is in the Build Back Better plan, but ultimately it's the PRO Act that needs to get passed. But yet here we're in this moment where, 50-50, we ain't going to get that. How do you see a path forward?
Well, we're going to keep fighting till we get it. But if you look at what's happened over the last year with President Biden, there's 4 areas that we focus on. One is executive orders. And the president has been very bullish and living up to his promises on taking care of working people with his executive orders. When you look at his appointments, in particular to places like the National Labor Relations Board and areas focusing on wage and hour law. And then you look at bills passed or proposed, which is critical. Again, the American Recovery Plan, the Build Back, the infrastructure bill, critical. But we also have to get the Build Back Better Act. We have to get the PRO Act. We need to focus on making some sense out of our voting laws here and trying to stop this gerrymandering of our districts and the taking away of voter rights. And then his statements and actions, as you'd indicated, his support for the striking mine workers down in Alabama, his support for the Kellogg's workers. So again, after the first year, I can tell you he's been the most pro-union president in my lifetime. And again, these are all down payments on things to turn this country around and call in a transformative new America, one that puts working people first. We've got a lot of work to do, as you indicated, and we're not going to let up until we get it done.
Does this help with union members? Does this help with them voting? I mean, the fact that he has delivered on his promises, the fact that he has been the most pro-union and is actually trying to do more than anyone, especially the former guy. Do you see this as helping with union households?
It's harder than ever to, get folks to get out of their silos that they're in. And so many Americans now just want to be confirmed with their points of view, not informed. And social media has certainly fed into that. So it's harder than ever. Organized labor still does the best job that there is because of our structure and our networks. But folks are in camps, that. And every day that goes by, though, if people look at how are their lives going, how are they doing, how are their children doing, what are their opportunities, what's the future look like, how do I feel about the direction of the country, every day that goes by and the jobs that are being created, how the market's doing, how Main Street businesses are doing, that all makes a big difference and a huge difference. And then organized labor will continue to do our part to talk to our members at the workplace, talk to them at the doorstep, on the phones, through mail, and just, be honest and tell the truth. Yep. And where things are working, we'll be honest, and where they're not, we won't. And we've always done that, and we're going to continue to do that. But it is more difficult than ever before because of there's so many different ways now to get your information, and folks tend to, gravitate towards areas where they're just being, confirmed things that maybe they think will make their lives better, or things that they want to hear, but aren't necessarily true. So we're just going to be honest, tell the facts, tell it like it is, call balls and strikes, and the membership will listen as long as things are working.
Right. I hope you're calling better balls and strikes than John Roberts. I just got to throw that out there. But here's the thing. I'm hoping that we move in the right direction, because ultimately labor is about wages, hours, conditions, about making lives better. I've been pushing this idea of union job, better life. That's the message for me. But I got to get your thought on this, and this is the last line of questioning I've got for you, because I'm looking at this horrible, this tragedy over the weekend that went from Arkansas through Kentucky and just leveled communities. And we keep hearing the misery porn on TV of people losing their lives. But I haven't heard enough about what happened at that Amazon facility were a number of workers that lost their lives. This Mayfield Consumer Products, this candle making place, where in both places you've got employers saying, hey, you can't go home. You can't have your phone with you. You can't communicate with the outside world. They basically set these people up in ways that made their lives much more dangerous and their families. And I'm not hearing people being as outraged as I think they should be. Or am I missing something here?
Well, our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts and our support goes out to the families that have been devastated. I know that in speaking to my president in Kentucky, Bill Londrigan, they were working with United Way with that disaster relief fund down there, and we've encouraged folks to contribute to that to help these people get back up and rebuild. I think you're going to be hearing more about what you're talking about. And, one thing for sure is if you have a union, you have a say at work. You have a say about your safety conditions, your working hours. And that's the best way to protect yourself at work, is to have a collective bargaining agreement where you have a seat at the table and you're talking about these things in advance. For sure, you can't predict everything that's going to come, but I think you're going to be hearing more about what's happened there, and we'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, we need to support the families that have been hit hard.
Yeah, we better hear more about this, because another big issue in this whole scenario, especially at the Amazon place, is most of the people who were in that facility were independent contractors who weren't even employees. And the stories that I'm hearing in the few places that you can find information is that they weren't even tracked. They didn't even know how many people were in the building, and there was no way no training on how to get out. It was a disaster waiting to happen from the beginning, and it cost people their lives.
Well, the misclassification of employees has been a major problem for a long time now, and we've got to get to the bottom of it. We've got to fix it, frankly, because you've got employers that really are skirting their obligations, and as a result, you run into a situation where when you run into a disaster like this, you're not as protected as what you need to be. And that's a shame. And again, I think we're going to be hearing more about what's happened in these facilities.
Well, we better. Tim, I appreciate the time. Great talking with you. I hope you'll come back and talk with us again, especially as we start moving into getting some of those pipes replaced and those jobs created, and those families getting decent wages and conditions and all of that. I appreciate the time, Tim.
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Tim Burga, president of the Ohio AFL-CIO. Quick break, right back. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show, where working people come to talk.